I actually made an entire unboxing video for this, but I got bored while editing it, so here are the highlights. Alright, so obviously this is the Comica BoomX-D D2 wireless microphone kit, and it's pretty cool. So let's get into an actual review. Hey, what's up? I'm Scott and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, make sure to subscribe for more no-nonsense tutorials and reviews. So like I said, this is the Comica BoomX-D D2, whatever it's called. It's a wireless microphone kit and it's similar to the Rode Wireless Go in form factor, but this comes with two transmitters as well as two external lav mics that you can plug into those if you don't want to use the built-in mics. I don't have the Rode kit to compare to this directly, but after using this, I can absolutely see the appeal of this design. Let's get it out on the table here before we move on with this. There are obviously some extras, another mic and some other cables and stuff in the box, but this will give you the idea while we're talking about it. Now, the receiver in particular is amazingly low profile. It's small, lightweight, and it slips into the camera's hot shoe with the perfectly sized clip on the back, meaning that you could of course just as easily clip this onto a camera's strap or something else, leaving your hot shoe open for a monitor or whatever else you need. It would be perfect for gimbal use because it would barely change the size or weight distribution of your camera. So I think I'll definitely be using this for walk and talk type shots on a gimbal just because of that. Now, before moving on, this kit from Comica comes in at $259, which is $59 more than the Rode Go, but keep in mind that this does come with two lav mics, of course, two transmitters, and the Rode Go does not. So compared to the single transmitter system of the Rode Go, even though this is a little bit more, you're getting double the practical use out of it. Anyway, taking a look at those transmitters, they have a nice look to them. They've got a good looking display and they are lightweight, but of course, everything is pretty plasticky. They won't exactly be durable, but they should be okay if you take care of them. The transmitters have a built-in mic here, so you could use these just by clipping them straight onto your shirt, truly wireless, as well as of course this 3.5 standard 3.5mm jack for an external lav mic like the ones that are included. There's also this little hole next to that which allows this kind of locking clip to just snap right into there and give it a little bit extra security from being pulled loose. Not quite as good as a screwed locking connection, but it's better than nothing. There's some simple buttons on the side for powering it on, for muting it, of course. You've also got a button for pairing it, although these will pair right out of the box without doing anything more to them besides turning them on, as well as a port for USB-C charging. And I was a little bit disappointed to see there's only one USB cable in the kit, although these all three charge by USB, but perhaps spending the extra money to put a dedicated cable for each one of these is not something that's worth it. You know, a lot of people have these cables lying around anyway. The built-in battery should last about 5 hours, which is actually not too bad for something so incredibly small and lightweight, but it obviously won't be the best choice for longer shoots if that's what you have in mind. And by the way, the Rode Go claims about 7 hours compared to the 5 on these. And back to that built-in microphone here for a second. It has this square shape to it that makes it very, very easy to slip on the included windshields just like this. And because of that nice rubber grip that they have on there, they don't fall off easily as well. I actually really like the way that these work. Very simple, very effective. Oddly enough though, they don't have these fuzzy windscreens for the lav mics, they only have these foam covers, so I thought it was weird that they didn't include that. Alright, well here's a wind test. It's pretty windy out here. I'm going to turn around a little bit so I'm facing the wind a bit more directly. But I do have the furry windscreen on here, so you can see a little bit how effective that is, hopefully. There's a pretty decent wind blowing. Let's see, yeah, try to face the direction of the wind as much as possible just to give this as much of a challenge as we can, but I think that it's doing a pretty good job, probably from what I've seen so far in my other use of it. I don't think it'll have any problem with wind noise like this. If you're in really strong wind, like a storm, then you know that's obviously a different issue. But with daily, normal, breezy day type wind, this is, you know, what you should expect in terms of wind noise. So we'll get back to the computer and see how that was as well. But again, I suspect it did pretty good. Very lightly comparing these two mics, I found that I liked the built-in mic just a little bit better, at least for my voice. The external lav mics felt a little bit muddier and neither necessarily sound breathtaking. I personally would probably use a different external lav mic for these whenever possible, or just use the built-in mic for the slightly better, I guess you could say, sound quality, and also just how easy it is to use these without any cables or anything extra whatsoever. Alright, so this is just a quick test. I have both the external lav mic and the just internal mic clipped onto my shirt here at about the same distance from my mouth. We're indoors, of course, and this is going straight into the camera. They're both at exactly the same level, so you can hear a little bit of how they compare. I don't have the fuzzy windscreen, and I also took off the foam windscreen, so you can hear just the pure mics by themselves. We're also going to go outside quick and see how they sound with these covers on, because obviously outdoors you're going to want to use these to protect against wind noise. We'll try and see a little bit of how well the foam wind cover protects against wind, if we can, compared to the furry windscreen on the actual transmitter itself as well. Let's get out there. Alright, so now we're outside. Sorry there's no wind, but I do have the fuzzy windscreen and also just the foam put onto the external lav mic. So again, now I'm going to switch back and forth. You can hear outdoors how they sound, and if there's any significant effect from the audio we just looked at when you put on these wind screens, which will be needed outdoors, except it's not windy at all. But yeah, anyway, this is what it sounds like outdoors. Alright, so now I've got a YouTube video playing here on my phone. I've got Wi-Fi, Bluetooth all turned on. Just gonna kind of put this around the transmitter here and see if we're getting any interference from the phone, any RF interference at all. Let's see, let's get it as close as we can, because of course if you have this in your pocket, it might be close to your phone and you don't want to deal with interference from that. So moving over to the receiver here, is similar to the transmitters, except that you get a gain control for each channel and the ability to switch between stereo and mono. Now stereo, of course, will split your left and right tracks when you get it into the camera, and mono will combine them just into one, so it's best if you're using only one of the transmitters. Gain control goes from 1 to plus 12 decibels, and the actual display of the audio levels was kind of a letdown. I don't feel like it's accurate at all. It's more just like a simple indication that some audio is coming through. But if you do need more gain control to control your audio levels on your camera, you do have some adjustment built into the receiver. It is a shame though, because the display itself does actually look pretty good visually. Now you do get a few different cables in the kit, one for Canon and Nikon, etc. That's this one here, another for Sony, Panasonic, Fujifilm, etc. And then you do also get a TRRS cable for smartphones. Not necessarily something that I'll use personally, but it's cool to have the flexibility to use this with a smartphone as well. Now they say you can get about a 164 foot or 50 meter range with this kit, which is not all that far, to be honest. The Rode Go tops out at 70 meters, for example, but it should be enough for most cases. And that does mean though that through the body, interference will probably start to be a problem even sooner. So anyway, let's just go outside and take a non-scientific look at how this works when I'm walking around within that range, as well as a quick little test from outside to inside through the walls of a building. All right, so I'm out here and I'm just gonna try and test this distance test, but I'm gonna do it a little bit differently from normal. I'm not gonna say specifically how many meters or feet I'm walking away. I'm just gonna count my steps as I walk away. I have the microphone on my shirt, so as I walk away, my body will be between the transmitter and the camera, and also the receiver is kind of on the side or back of my camera, so it's not the best ideal line of sight type of situation. So again, this is a little bit more realistic, maybe including a little bit of interference. So we'll see how far away I can get. One of my steps is probably just under a meter or so, so I expect to get hopefully around 75 steps or so before this audio starts cutting out. But anyway, let's walk away and see where it does cut out, and then I'll turn around and walk back towards the camera. We'll have a little bit more of a line of sight view in that situation. So anyway, here we go. I'm about 2 meters away to begin with, by the way, so on top of that. So let's see. So just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Now as I turn around, I'm not sure if I've cut out by this point or not, but this is 75 steps away from the camera, probably around 50 meters or so, give or take a little bit because I'm not measuring carefully. I'm going to walk a little bit further just in case we are still connected, and let's see how much further I can go. I doubt that I'm still connected. This is 100 steps away, probably closer to 70 meters, 75 meters or so around there. I'm going to start walking back towards the camera now, and we'll see how far we can get. So I'm not going to count out my steps, but we can see generally what the distance is. This is, again, probably further than I would ever use the microphone when I'm trying to talk to the camera, but you never know. All right, so I'm outside my studio now. I'm just gonna go throw my bag in there, and walking from here to inside the studio, I'm gonna close 2 doors behind me, and then I'll go up to the 2nd floor. So there's also the kind of floor between me and the camera. It's probably about 30 meters or so from where the camera is to the corner of the upstairs in the studio. So we'll see how well this can go through walls at that distance. I don't expect it to make it all the way to the end because, again, that 50-meter ideal limitation. So we'll see how it goes. Let's just get in there and let the audio do the talking. Going inside the studio, this first door is actually probably the heaviest. It's a solid wood door. So we'll see right now that the door is closed if the audio is even still coming through or not. But I'm going in now to the 2nd room. It is a door, and that's now closed. Pop on the lights, and I'm gonna head up to the corner where my studio. So anyway, a bit plasticky, sure. Slightly disappointing audio level displays and maybe a less than stellar battery life. Okay, but nothing is really bad here. I love the form factor and the fact that you get 2 transmitters, which is very, very useful. And the kit is full featured with the lav mics, the windshields, and more. Plus, it looks kind of cool. I have no doubt that the Rode Go is a very decent kit as well, but for just a little bit more money, I do feel like you're getting more out of the BoomX-D D2 kit. This is absolutely going to be handy to have in my kit, regardless of what other mics and systems I already have. But if you do have any questions, let me know down below. I'll do my best to get back to you. Thanks again for watching, and don't forget to like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. See you next time.